Hi, welcome to the Grumpy Bagel Podcast. My name is Megan. You can find me on Instagram and on Ravelry as the Grumpy Bagel. And welcome to episode 2. If you are a returning visitor, thank you so much for staying with me. And if you are a new visitor, welcome. So I know it's been a while since I recorded last. It's been a month, I think. And I'd wanted to try to keep to a every other week schedule, but it didn't work out for this time just because of, as I like to say, capital R reasons. That, for one thing, there was something that I knew was coming to me, and I wanted to wait until I got it so that I could show it to you all, and then I had to wait for that extra week, and then last week was just not a good time for me to record, so I waited, and this week actually it turns out to be the best time. And, sorry, notes. Right. So, I had a good week. I hope you have had a good month in the meantime. And I wanted to actually record a little earlier this week, but that didn't work out either. I was distracted, happily so, by going to revisit probably the most favorite thing that I have, even more than knitting, something that I have loved longer than knitting, if you can believe that, and in my own way, I love more than knitting, and it is, let's see, representing again, it is this homicidal maniac who wears a mask. I went to see the new U.S. tour of the Phantom of the Opera, and I'm so glad I did. I was not sure about going to see it at first because it's a new production with new design as well, and I had very mixed feelings about it because I'm a purist of sorts, and the Maria Bjornsson's original designs and costumes were what I loved the most, and I have a very strong sense of loyalty toward that, and I went back and forth on what I was going to do, if I was going to see it, if I was going to not, and then I finally just decided I have to go see it. I can't say no while there's still blood in my body. Or I'm mixing my metaphors here, aren't I? That's not even a metaphor. That's the thing. That's how excited I was. So we did go to see it. I enjoyed it very much. I'm very glad that I went to see. I saw Derek Davis as the Phantom, who was absolutely amazing. I'm so glad that I got to go and got some new merch, and it's red, of course. So that's what I did this week, and I've been trying to write down all my thoughts and reviews on it because that's just the sort of person I am, apparently. So I wanted to do that while it was still fresh in my mind, so this is why it's coming out a little later in the week than I normally would. But anyway, as Dan Jones of Bakery Bears fame would say, this is a knitting podcast, so why don't we just get into the knitting portion? So last week, I always do that. Last time I recorded, I talked to you about I went to the San Luis Obispo yarn crawl. And I went to visit all 5 shops, had a very fun time, got to see all the goodies that I had there. So what happened for this yarn crawl was you got a passport of sorts that had the list of all the yarns, all the yarn shops that you went to. And every time that you went to a shop, you would get a stamp next to that shop. And when you had visited all 5 shops, whatever the shop was the last one that you visited, you show them all, you see all 5, they see all 5 stamps, and you got a ticket into a drawing for one of 5 very large gift baskets that each shop was holding, so that you could be entered into a prize drawing. So I did that, and also if you wore your Trailing Ivy shawl, designed by Alana, at each shop that you went to, you would get an extra ticket into that drawing. So I did that. So in all, I got 6 tickets entered into the prize drawing. And guess what? I won a gift basket. I never win anything. Ever. I think the last thing I won was, I don't know, maybe 7 so years ago at a little tiny concert in Hawaii. I won a lei. But it wasn't actually even mine. It was a random drawing for the seats, and it was actually my dad's name or seat that got called, and he let me take it. So that's the last thing I won. I won an incredibly generous gift basket for the San Luis Obispo Yarn Crawl. I got the one from Ranch Dog Knitting. So thank you, Ranch Dog, for getting in touch with me and for providing this. And I was overwhelmed when I heard the news, and then I was even more overwhelmed when I got it. And it took a little while to get the logistics figured out for getting the box or the basket to me from San Luis Obispo, because I am not local to San Luis Obispo. So normally they'd say, well, come on and we'll keep it for you and you'll pick it up. I have no idea when I'm going to be back in that area. So there were so many very kind people who managed to get it to me. So that's why I was waiting to record now, so that I could show you all of my goodies. Now I know that that not everyone is interested when there's lots of yarn acquisitions, and I understand that. So fair warning ahead of time, but there is just so much goodness and awesomeness in this basket that I couldn't not share it with you guys. So I'm going to try to get my notes here, because I did record everything, because like I said, that's kind of what I do. So hopefully that I'll have everything and get it organized and remember exactly what is what. So get my list out. Yeah, okay. So first of all, there were yarn, books, and notions galore. I mean, I knew kind of an idea, because when you'd go into the shop, you'd see the basket displayed somewhere, and you get a little peek into it, but that doesn't show you everything. I had no idea there would be so much goodness in this basket, I'll tell you. And now I just have to figure out where I want to start. So, let me start with this one. This is a Lantern Moon combination needle case with some silk fabric. It is purple with a brocade section here, and it opens. Let me untie it here. Yeah, and it opens up into this beautiful case. So you can keep your straight needles in here, and you can keep your circulars in here. And there's a separate section for some tools and notions. It's gorgeous. And Lantern Moon, I can't even believe that I could get something from them like this. And some project bags. There's another one from Ball and Skein from Cambria. I got one for myself. What's that? One for Manos del Uruguay. There. Sorry, I'm still maneuvering camera stuff. And one from the Fiber Company. So those were the bags and notions and things. Well, here are the notions, really. See, I have some needles. I think they're all from Crystal Palace. The bamboo needles. Oh, there's just one. Just one that's Haya bamboos. And nice little double points there. Those would be perfect for, I really want to learn how to make gloves and mittens, so I think these would be perfect for something like that, for getting in for all the fingers and thumbs. I almost said toes. That's weird. Okay, so here are the Crystal Palace bamboo needles. Got some, let's see, where is it? I think 9-inch straights and double points and 16-inch circulars. Always need more needles, right? Sorry, out of frame there. And I got some really, really nice scissors. Got some ganger scissors. Are you kidding? Some ganger scissors and some Nirvana needle art scissors as well. See if we can get the nice color in there. Very nice scissors. Sorry, I don't have much table space right here, and I don't want to just toss something onto the floor, but so I'm going to try to put it down onto the floor. That works. Here's some rattling. Tape measure from Kelborn Woolens. There we go. have to think oppositely. And then some tins for stitch markers from Firefly. Yeah, Firefly Notes Online. There we go. Aren't those pretty? And so this guy has some jump ring stitch markers like that. And then the Cardinal has the removable stitch markers like this. And then got another notebook. And then got some needle gauges. Oh, let's see, got one from Twig and Horn. Yeah. And then I got two from Katrinkles. So I got the Knitter's Rule swatch gauge measure. And then I got the sheep. Oh, isn't that adorable? I've been thinking about Katrinkles for so long to actually get some. That's just awesome. Try to get these quietly back into the bag there. Okay, so that's it for the bags and notions. I got some books and patterns, which is just, I couldn't believe it. All the things I got. Let's see, I got the Vanda, that pattern. Distributed by Manos. Got Dancing Feet socks from Mountain Colors Design. And got the Kiva Hatu, that pattern from Kelborns. Katahdin. And an Alice cowl pattern. Let's see, I got some smaller ones here too. So got the Barocco Summer Silk book. And two smaller books, or a lookbook from Lana Grossa. And then Perkins Cove pattern from Quince & Company. And then I could not believe it when I saw this one. The Erica Knight collection. And look at that. That is a huge book. That is huge. And there are home decor patterns in here, and camisole sweaters. There are so many beautiful things in here, and I can't believe that all of this into one. And here's the back cover. Well, so 50 patterns in that one. The reversible scarves by Audrey Knight. And Within by Jane Richmond and Shannon Cook. And Coastal Knits, which was the first collaboration between Hannah Fettig and Alana Dacos. And all of this still in one basket. I'm amazed, and I said I was overwhelmed when I got this, that for all the sponsors to be so generous, and this is only one of 5 baskets that they made available, so that's amazing that they were able to make this available for us. See, that is the books. Now I'm going to be yarn. I'll admit, as much as I love the books and everything, this is the part I'm most excited about. Oh man. Let's see. I got some little minis from Mountain Colors. The Perspectives and Hand-Baked Coat. hand paint berries Twizzlefoot. So 5 mini skeins in there. You see them all more in the back. And from Delicious Yarns, the Gourmet Cowl kit. I love the packaging on these. See that? And so here's a picture of the finished cowl, and they have nutritional facts on the back. I mean, come on, that's adorable. And then I have some, I have no idea how to pronounce this, some linen yarn. Here, show you the tag there. So, Trend Collection Linny 164 Java in the 227 colorway. I haven't been able to quite figure out the name for it, but it's a peachy, almost apricot champagne color. That's not very helpful, is it? But a very, very delicate peach color. Some Louisa Harding Bitura. And there's a discrepancy on which color this is, because there's a tag over the tag. See, kind of right here. It's coming off, and that says one color, but I can't find that within the catalog of this line. And the color that the tag says, according to the catalog, this should be Dolly. And I've looked at Dolly, and it is definitely not. I think this is Kadinsky, but I'm not 100% sure. But nevertheless, isn't that beautiful? This is a 75% wool and 25% bamboo yarn. I think that'll be very, very pretty. And some Manos de Uruguay Maxima in Concord. So, whoops, should tag there. So 100% merino in a single ply worsted. Some Ba Platinum in Amber Sunrise. And that is a 75% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% silk, 5% stellina. Just make out the sparkle there. Yeah, just a tiny bit there. It's such a vibrant orange. I love it. Some Ella Ray Lace Merino DK in brown. Queensland Collection Rustic Merino Sport in Caribbean blue. That's dulling it down, actually. It's actually a really vibrant ocean color. So I was going to say oceany, that's not really, but it's more of a turquoise, much brighter blue in there. So Mrs. Crosby in the satchel, which is the single ply fingering weight superwash merino in Buttercup. It's very interesting. I'm not sure what I'll make with this, but it's definitely, and it's so soft. Can't wait to decide what to make with all of these. And that's the thing, is so much of these, I don't think I've knit with any of these before, except for, well, maybe one, but this is a great way to try out so many of these yarns that I've never gotten to, you know, even look at or touch. Oh, Yoth yarn in Big Sister, which is the DK weight with superwash merino, cashmere, and nylon in Shiitake. And some Rasta by Malabrigo in Ravelry Red. I've been wanting to try this color for so long. It's my perfect red. So I think I'm going to make a nice big chunky cowl with this. Something nice and big. Sorry, I didn't mean to lean in on you there. Oh, some of the Drop Spindle, more from Drop Spindle. There. So I think this is her Alexis base. It's 100% nylon. I don't want to call it a boucle yarn necessarily, but you can kind of see how it's spun and textured there. Very interesting. I think this is the Lenore color, if I'm reading the tag correctly. So there's some very deep sea, almost olivey greens with just hints of going into a burgundy purple, and then a lighter greeny tealy sea foam. It just makes me want to, quote Edgar Allan Poe all the time. Just go around the house yelling, "Sweet Lenore." And some Malabrigo worsted and Deja Vu. It's a lot of purples going into some greeny browns. And then 2 skeins of Anzula Croquet in copper, which is the 50% superwash merino, 50% silk tussa. Oh, sorry, it's rust, excuse me. In rust. And then that's almost all the yarn. There are only 3 skeins left out of all the yarn that they gave me, but unfortunately these last 3 don't have labels on them. That's the only thing that makes me sad about this, but I can pretty much tell what they are. Just that, I can tell that there's some alpaca in these, just by the kind of halo that's on there. This is a kind of a heathered brown and gray, maybe a little bit of blue in there. I can't tell, but definitely a fingering weight. And then this one is a gray heather, also alpaca, I think. And that might be more of a lace weight, or heavy lace, I'm not sure. And then this lovely tonal brown. I think that's just straight wool. I can't really feel, I'm not even sure if there's nylon in there. I think it's just a superwash wool. So that's the only thing about this, is that I don't know who to thank for these and who to credit for these 3 mystery skeins, but I love them all as equally. So that is finally everything that came in that incredible gift basket. So once again, thank you to Ranch Dog Knitting and to the people who made it possible for me to receive my gift basket. And thank you for the experience. And I am so glad to have been able to participate, and, to make it all even just a little bit better, to actually win something, because I never win anything. And then I get this. It was, and it came at just the right time when I needed a little pick-me-up. So thank you again so much, and thank you for sticking with me in that. I'll try not to get out of frame again after this. Excuse me. Good old Yorkshire tea is back. Okay. Try to get back on the notes here. So, yes, that is everything from the yarn crawl. I do have some other acquisitions that I got in between, but I've already shown you so much yarn. I don't want to get into any more than I have to and reveal just how much of a wool pig I am. Let's see. For finished objects, I finished the willow cowl that was in Miss Bab's Yummy 2-ply in the wild berries color. I'll try to put it on. Sorry. There. Kind of trying to get the tiered, oh, my hair, ugh, effect there. Yeah, you can kind of get it there. So, yeah, that is the willow cowl that I finished. Very nice. And then I finished, finally, the Violet Waffles hat in Poison. That was, last time you saw it, it was a little too short before my head, and that had been languishing in my projects for so long just because I didn't want to, rip back the crown and do it that way. So the main reason I did bring it out on the podcast was just, getting myself in gear and just do it and finish it. So it is finished. It's very lovely. I can't. It's finally getting warm here, and so now it's too late to wear it. So I can't wait for it to get a little cooler so I can wear it again. I almost started all over again so I could get a brim, well, a fold over brim in there, but because usually that's what I like. I kind of like slightly slouchy hats. But this one I decided to go for, more of the beanie style, and it just makes sure that it comes down over my ears. So I finally got that. So, violet waffles hat. And then I showed you the yarn for this last time, but I hadn't actually started it. It was the Ancient Arts Fiber Art Crafts. Anyway, for the Russian Silver Blue cat inspired yarn that I said was going to make for Nikki of My Foster Kittens on Instagram. I forgot to tell you that the particular cat I was talking about, Stella, she has her own Instagram now, so if you want to know specifically about her and her story, you can find her on Instagram as Can Do Stella. I'll make sure to put in her information down here so you can find out about her and her incredible journey from being rescued as a blind feral kitten into the most loving, incredible, spunky little cat. She's still little. She's not quite an adult yet, and fulfilling her role as a junior foster mom in Nikki's house. She is what we affectionately call a foster fail, because Nikki, she fosters kittens to make sure that they can go to a new home, but Stella was so special that she actually had to keep her, which she does not do, even with all of the incredible animals that have come into her life. Stella had to stay with her, and I have to admit I was so glad when Stella did decide to stay with Nikki, because I couldn't imagine her being anywhere else. So what I did in honor of Stella was to make a cowl. We're in I forgot to look up the designer's name. I am so sorry. The Paws Around My Neck cowl by Lisa Byrne. Isn't that cute? So I opted for, what you can do is either have this paw motif going all around like this, or you can have columns of just the two, separated by more stockinette columns. So they're just, paws going around. But I opted to have them going all over, and I did kind of 5 repeats total. It's just about right for a cowl size. So I finished that. That will be going to Nikki very soon. I hope she likes it. Doesn't think I'm completely nuts for sending her something that made me think of her cat. And then I have some finished prairie socks by Kay Jones. Let's see. Oops. Trying to get them all in there. So this was made out of, I forgot to tell you the base last time from Once Upon a Corgi from Gabby's shop. This is the Audrey base, which is a 80% superwash blue-faced Leicester and 20% nylon in his name is Shirley color. From, let me take it off so I can show you the texture a little better. From the series of Unfortunate Events Yarn Club. I really like how these turned out. I actually had to pull them back from what I had shown you last time, because my gauge so far in socks has been pretty consistent. I've been using just number 1 US size needles for and 56 stitches to fit my feet. But for these, when I almost finished them and tried them on, they were really tight, which I thought was really weird, because it hasn't been making a difference so far. I haven't had to change anything in my personal sock pattern, but I think just the stitch pattern itself there makes the fabric tighter than it normally is. So instead of pulling all the way back, I just came back to the cuff and then started the pattern in on 1.5 size needles, and then just continued on normally, still 56 stitches, and those turned out fine. So these fit beautifully now. So I think it's just maybe the stitch pattern in itself. I don't know if anyone else came across that while they were making theirs, but that was just something that for me, I did have to make the body just a tiny bit bigger to fit my feet. So that is it for finished objects. Let me reach around again. Okay, so for works in progress, I can't believe this, another willow. I have made so many willows so far this year, people. It's a little bit crazy. This is, I think, my 5th one this year. I just keep making them. I don't know why. I mean, it's a good pattern. That's the thing. It's a great pattern. But I'm starting to get a little burned out on them. So, and this is in what I showed you last time in the Mrs. Crosby train case in Cambria Cool, the exclusive colorway for Ball and Skein. So there is that. And I am making some more socks. And this is some very special yarn that I got in Hawaii, specifically Kauai, from a company called Hanalei Hand Dyed. And this is it's a fairly new base for them, I think, at least the last time I was there last year, which is a pretty standard sock base, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And this color is called Pele Fire, after the volcano goddess. And I finished one sock right here, so obviously not finished or washed or anything, and I am getting started on the second sock there. Just finished the cuff. These will be for my mom, because she absolutely, when she saw this in the shop, she just lost it and had to get some, so finally getting around to making some of those for her. And then I actually have started this a long time ago. This is my current travel knitting. But this is the simple chevron striped scarf by Karen Martinez in some Canon hand dyes in the Charles Self Striping base, which is a 25% superwash merino, 25% nylon in the We're All Mad Here color, which is striped with solid black with then a section of green and orange and pink and blue. This was another thing that I saw on Ravelry D-Stash and immediately thought of my mom, because she loves any rainbows and color, and I just thought that it just screamed her to me, so I got it as a surprise for her. So that is my current one of my current long-term projects. And I'm keeping, here's it kind of caked up. And I'm keeping that, and I have to show you this bag. It's a kind of a boxed project bag that my friend Raquel, also Color Me Happy 2 on Instagram, made for me a long time ago. This is my favorite project bag. She was so sweet to send it to me in some Happy Mail a couple years ago, and it goes with me everywhere, so thank you, Raquel. And Raquel is she is a quilter, obviously, and she has recently got into knitting. I think she just passed her 1-year knitting anniversary. She is amazing. She's doing things that I never would have done in my first year of knitting, and I'm so proud of her. And love to see when she gets new things in her stash, and all of her shawl updates on Instagram and Ravelry. So again, shout out to Raquel. Hi! And thank you so much for my most favorite project bag here. So if there hasn't been as much either finished or in progress, it's probably because I have been working on my major long-term project, which is the sock yarn blanket by Shelley Kang. And it's so big, I have to go over here. I'm not even sure how I'm going to fit this all in frame. I'll have to back up. So this is what I have so far. Yeah, it's not even gonna... There's no way to fit this all in right now. So I'll just give you a passing wave of it. There. So this is my sock yarn blanket. I have started and restarted it a couple times because while I'm not using mini skeins that I've bought to go into this. This is going to be purely, I've decided, that's one of the reasons I restarted it a couple times. This is going to be made purely out of my leftover sock yarn scraps. So there were some things that were in here before that they weren't leftovers, and it irked me for some reason. I don't know. I'm just not right in the head about that, I guess. So I restarted it a couple times. So what I do is that I wait until I have 50 unique colors in scraps, and then I do a wave of knitting on it. So I recently finally got 50 again, yay, and so that's the signal for me to go in and drag this thing out and get started on it again. And I have very strict rules with myself to make sure that the colors are as evenly dispersed as possible. It drives me crazy to try to do that, and I've gotten so frustrated with it, but there's the only way I can manage it for some reason in my head. So far it is 15 or 14, depending on if you're in a big or small row, squares long. And I don't know how tall it's going to be yet. I'm just basing it on the size of my a twin size comforter that I have for my room, just loosely basing it on that size. So it's going to be a while before, but I don't mind it. It's kind of nice to know that I have this waiting for me whenever it's ready. I have to keep showing you, I'm sorry. Anyway. The insanity. So that is, I think, finally it. This is a little longer podcast than I did last time, so yay, I guess. And so I know there are some blips in there on the way. I will try to edit those out as best I can. I clearly was not as prepared as I was hoping to be. So that is a lot of information to pack in at once, but thank you for staying with me. That will wrap it up for today. Once again, thank you for joining me, spending some time with me today. I hope you have a great time in between this and the next episode, and I will see you then. So, happy knitting. Bye.